All my life, man, my whole life, everybody around me was boxing. I come from a fighting family.
The Mayweather family included a father and an uncle who were both fighters. The younger one, Roger Mayweather, was the most successful, winning titles in 2 weights.
And the boos you hear in the arena greet the entrance of the man whom Mexicans see as the Mexican assassin, a man who's built much of his career by knocking off Mexican fighters, Roger Mayweather.
Roger had even fought a young Pernell Whitaker before Pernell was a champion, eventually losing whilst taking Pernell the full distance. His father, Floyd Mayweather Sr., was a respected fighter and had once fought the young Sugar Ray Leonard early on in Ray's career. Before going on to greatness, Ray Leonard won the match after the two battled it out in a grueling 10-round fight. But for Floyd Sr., his career was tragically cut short after a family shooting at the Mayweather home. Floyd's father was shot in the leg by his mother's brother when Floyd was just 1 year old, and at the time, his father was holding him in his arms, trying to discourage the shooter from fatally aiming at the chest.
It was really a roller coaster ride, you know. People kind of know the background of Floyd Mayweather. You know, I stayed in Jersey, I lived with my mother. You know, 7 of us lived in a 1-bedroom. You know, at one particular time, my mother was on drugs. My dad been shot by my mother, brother. You know, sometimes I would stay with my grandmother. Of course, she was cleaning up offices and cleaning up hotel rooms. And my dad, of course, you know, he hustled. You know, in the inner city. Eventually, you know, I moved back to Grand Rapids, Michigan, with my father. You know, I asked my mother, can she move back also? And she eventually moved back to Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I was happy when she moved back, but she was back on drugs. You know, I seen my dad sell my mother drugs. You know, just those are the things that I went through in life.
Not only was it a tough life, but it was also tough love.
You know, my father, anything, my father would beat me for anything I done. I don't care if it was, I may not even done it. My dad was real hard on me, real hard on me. I couldn't make no mistakes. You know, if I make a mistake, you know, my dad, you know, kind of, you know, cuss me out, slap me, check me.
And it was that tough love that translated into a tough training regime.
People say, his daddy treat him like he was in a boot camp. You know what? Look at him today.
Believe it or not, I started training my son when he was a baby, right in the crib. I took his hands and started doing that. Pretty soon, my son started doing that on his own. I couldn't believe it.
I used to just go to the gym and just, you know, stand on a chair and hit the speed bag. And, you know, after hitting the speed bag for a few years, I got good at it. So when I was 4 years old, I knew how to hit the speed bag like a professional.
Floyd's father began to coach his son day in and day out, and the youngster fell in love with the sport. As an amateur, Floyd accumulated an 84-6 record, and he won 3 national Golden Glove tournaments along the way. At just 10 years old, he was described as being able to do what 19-year-olds could do.
It felt good, but it was very hard. I was struggling, struggling to fight. First, I want to thank the good man upstairs for giving me this opportunity to win the national championship. And second of all, I want to thank my father.
The best in the Midwest, I must confess. For all the rest, is no contest.
Welcome to Bunny.net. How can we help you today?
I would like 50.
But the Mayweather world would be turned upside down as Floyd's father was convicted to 5 years on a drug charge.
I thought about my son a whole lot.
I had to become a man at a young age, at 16. At 16, I had to provide for myself. Had to make a way for myself. When my dad went to prison, when I was 16, Don Hale brought me in and treated me like I was a son.
When Big Floyd, Floyd's dad, went to prison, he sent little Floyd out to be with Roger in Las Vegas. After about 2 weeks, Roger couldn't handle it, and he sent him back to Grand Rapids. He was living with his grandmother, running the streets, wasn't in the boxing gym. So I got with Floyd. He called me the following week. The next day, Floyd was actually staying at our house and ended up living with us, and I started taking him to the boxing gym. And it was I was not a trainer, didn't claim to be, still don't claim to be, but I got Floyd in shape, and he went to the National Golden Gloves in March. That was in January. In March, he wins the National Golden Gloves, got fighter of the tournament, and I started working with Floyd. The thing about Floyd is he was so focused on boxing at that point. He knew what he wanted to do, and he was going to do whatever it took to do it. And whenever he would go into the ring, he wanted to make sure that he was in the best shape that he could possibly be in. He had a competitive spirit about him that was different than any other fighter I ever worked with. He was easier to get to train than any other fighter I ever worked with. With Floyd, I can remember being in the gym with him, and Carlos Navarro was the #1 ranked 119-pounder. And I'd say, well, Navarro went 12 today. Well, I'm going 13. He was very, very focused that way. Floyd wanted the best of everything. Whenever the new Jordan shoes came out, we'd have to wait till midnight so he could get them.
When Don Hale brought me in, it motivated me to want to buy a house like that, to want to put my mother in a big house.
And it was around this time that Floyd got real evidence that he could be great after sparring with older boxing pros that Don Hale managed. And as a teenager, he got the better of them.
This one I knew I was on a I can handle the pros, because I was beating every pro. At 17, I was beating every pro in my gyms. Well, I was boxing Frankie Randall before he fought Chavez. He's the first guy to ever beat Julio Cesar Chavez. I took it easy on him, even though I knew I could have got the best of him. But I never wanted to. I didn't want to give him my best, because I didn't want to lose my friendship with him. They see me, I box, so that's when they said, we want you to box Pernell when you come back the next day.
As Whitaker clowns a little bit for the crowd. Misses with the...
Pernell Whitaker was the defensive genius who had also schooled the great Julio Cesar Chavez.
It was good work for both of us, that's all I say. See, by the time I was 17, I had already been around the world.
In 1996, Floyd Mayweather competed as a featherweight in the Atlanta Olympics. This was Floyd's chance to perform for a global audience, and if he could win it, he could guarantee himself a flying start to his pro career. Floyd steamrolled through the first round, winning by an impressive 10-1 margin. The second round was also a landslide, and Mayweather scored 16 to just 3 from his opponent. In the quarterfinals, he became the first American in 20 years to defeat a Cuban. He won by just 1 point to advance to the next round. And all seemed well in the semi-finals, as Mayweather boxed brilliantly against the Bulgarian Todorov. But all of a sudden, his Olympic dreams met an unfortunate end when the judges didn't announce Mayweather as the winner. The robbery was so bad that even the shocked referee had preeminently raised Mayweather's hand.
Although the referee, Schumann, raised the hand of Floyd Mayweather. Guess what? This was not a good decision.
They need to get rid of the whole system and get a new establishment to control amateur boxing.
We all know I got ripped off, I got to live with it, I'm just going to, take my bronze medal, and go home, and, it's time for me to turn professional, I can't deal with this amateur boxing anymore.
If anybody with one eye and 90 years old can tell me that Floyd Mayweather didn't score at least 40 blows in those 3 rounds, Floyd Mayweather won that bout. May 2nd, he should have a gold medal hanging in his corner, but he didn't get her, did he?
I think that, I don't really want to say I won a bronze medal. I think it's best to say I received a bronze medal, because you can't win a bronze if you lost.
And with that, Floyd vowed to never again taste defeat. A few months after receiving his bronze medal, Floyd turned pro in October of '96 and got off to a wonderful start against Roberto Apodaca.
Making his professional debut, introducing Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather.
Clean at all times. Good luck to both of you. Just well.
Mayweather showed great power, destroying his fellow debutant in 2 rounds with punishing blows to the body.
He doubles up. Took a left hook, Rapadaka. And he hits him with a right. And Rapadaka, just a matter of time.
You were able to work the body exceptionally well during the course of this bout.
Yes, because Mexicans are known for taking good headshots, so I had to go to the body tonight. First of all, I'd like to thank God for this opportunity to come out here and do what I had to do tonight, and I also like to thank my dad and my Uncle Jeff and Roger, for being behind me and helping me while my dad's gone right now.
Going very well, but there's like a little more things he can do, but as he gets to be fighting more often, it's going to come to him naturally.
The Olympic robbery had also robbed Mayweather of the money a gold medalist could earn, which would cause problems later.
Young Mayweather is getting $7,500 for this, his 3rd professional fight. Promoter Bob Arum told me that the difference between the bronze that he won and the gold that De La Hoya won is that De La Hoya was already making $50,000 at this young stage of his career.
But for now, it was time to focus on the fighting, and that he did.
Fought tougher pros, tougher fighters in the amateurs than Cooper is.
And referee Mitch Halpern
in this fight.
Big left by Mayweather.
Mayweather racked up 13 knockouts in 17 straight wins, and he was doing it in style too, giving us an early taste of the personality he would become famous for.
This one's scheduled for 6. Down goes Kiepert. And Mayweather comes back with rights, and Kiepert will go down, and
that's it. Kiepert is hurt.
And a couple of lefts, one of them to the body, and a short left hand landed inside. He is doing some damage right now. Left hook lands, Leija stunned again. And you can stop at any time. And Jerry McKenzie's going to stop it right there. After the 4th knockdown of the fight, abundantly clear evidence that Louis Leija could not defend himself against Floyd Mayweather's onslaught.
Too much speed, too much power.
By now, Mayweather's father had gotten out of prison and rejoined the team.
The corner of Floyd Mayweather, his dad.
I feel good, Daddy. Relax, man. Go on, take care of your business. You beat the guy. You're going to stop it. Okay.
Floyd Sr. came back right in time. After only 2 years of fighting, Mayweather got his title shot.
I just want to thank Top Rank, Bob Arum, and Todd DeBuff, for giving me this opportunity to fight for the world title October 30th against Gennaro Hernandez. A lot of guys out there want to say that I don't deserve a title, but I'm not ducking and dodging nobody at the 130-pound weight class. I'm willing to fight everybody and all comers. I just feel I'm going to get a victory. I can't predict which way and how I'm going to do it, but I do feel that I'm going to get a victory against Gennaro Hernandez. But I feel it's going to be a good, tough fight. He's a very tough guy and a game opponent.
It wasn't too long ago that the champion Gennaro Hernandez had been his idol in the past.
Because when I used to lay in the bed, like I said, it was so crazy. I used to lay in the bed at night, and my room got posters all around. I got posters all around my bedroom of all fighters. The fighter that I had right above me was Gennaro Hernandez, and I used to watch him fight. I used to watch him fight at the Forum. I used to be like, he unbelievable. I said no fighter would never beat him.
But that was exactly what Mayweather was aiming to do. Hernandez had been fighting for 12 years longer than Mayweather and had never been beaten at 130 pounds. Hernandez had grit and intelligence, and he had beaten the division's best. And if Mayweather was to beat him, it would require Floyd to be at his best. Floyd was the first Olympian from the '96 Games to fight for a title.
Obey my commands. I want a good, clean fight. Touch gloves, let's go to work.
Right from the start of the fight, Mayweather grabbed the opportunity with both fists.
But as you get closer, it disappears. Now.
Hard right hand by Floyd. The other went down. You could see Hernandez's lead foot is
So far, young Mayweather is simply beating Hernandez to the punch.
No one in the division had even come close to this type of performance against Hernandez.
One of the rising training talents.
So far, the rounds have not been close. Mayweather is winning them all in the view of most of us.
That's why I say he's the best natural fighter around, because that's what you want to do. Make him exercise that side of his body that he doesn't train.
And Hernandez has backed up against the ropes just as Floyd told us he would. And Floyd going to work. Right hand lands for Hernandez. Floyd comes back with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-punch combination.
And this guy's hitting him.
And that's when it's the corner's job to show that right.
That's right.
And Rudy is going to turn to referee Canadian.
After 8 rounds of brutality, Hernandez's corner waved the white flag and the tears of joy flowed from Floyd.
A proper show of respect for a great champion who was beaten by a younger, better fighter tonight. Genaro Hernandez congratulates the new champ.
What did you see in him that told you that somebody with his few professional fights could do this to you as an experienced veteran champion?
I try to give it my best, but he's just too quick,
Thanks, man.
A true champion. You're a true champion. I appreciate it. And you'll be a champion for a long time.
Knightsbridge FX will get you better exchange rates than the banks. So here's how it works.
To be the best, you got to beat the best. They said Hernandez was the best. I fought him, I was victorious. Now they say Angel Man Freddy's the best. Now I'm fighting him, and with God on my side, I'll be victorious the second time.
So it was on to the next, and Mayweather defended his title against the highly rated Angel Man Freddy, scoring an impressive second round stoppage.
Over the top, stuns Manfredi.
He's not confused at all. He's just boxing, keeping Manfredi out in the ear so he can see Manfredi.
Manfredi in trouble as Mayweather pounds away. Manfredi almost went down. He won't take a knee, but he isn't throwing back. Mayweather pounding, and this one's gonna be stopped too.
I use body in my shots. And that's why Genaro Hernandez quit. People say, why did Hernandez quit? It don't look like Mayweather punch hard. If you're not in there, you wouldn't know.
In just 3 years of pro fighting, Mayweather worked his way up to number 2 ranked fighter in the world, an astonishing feat considering the time frame. However, despite his high ranking, this didn't exactly translate into big paydays, and this led to tensions with the televising company HBO and his promotional company Top Rank. It was promotional stablemate Oscar De La Hoya who was getting the big bucks. De La Hoya was receiving around $10 to $15 million a fight, whilst Mayweather had just been offered a $12.5 million contract for 7 fights. Mayweather infamously labelled the contract offer as slave wages, but HBO's executives and promoter Bob Arum disagreed. They felt that Mayweather had an inflated perception of his value.
George Floyd Mayweather Jr. believes, as do many of the rest of us in the sport, that he has Oscar De La Hoya kind of talent, Roy Jones Jr. kind of talent. But as the result, he's already saying openly that he wants Oscar De La Hoya kind of money, Roy Jones Jr. kind of money.
This guy is a package. And we may not realize it right now, but we better jump on board. Although you said earlier, jump on the train, there's a lot of people already on board. This guy's got the package. He's going to go down, if he continuously stay in good shape, as one of the best fighters of all time. He may as well start asking for the big money now.
As the story goes, HBO executive Lou DiBella offered a solution. They could walk down Times Square together, and if Floyd was mobbed by fans, HBO would heighten their offers. They never did take action on this solution. However, it highlights Floyd's struggle for fame. And to add to his contractual issues, it was discovered that Mayweather had been getting robbed of his ring earnings.
You gotta have the right people around you, and certain people around me was, making me sign contracts that I shouldn't have been signing. Had me in a position with an accountant that was stealing from me. So what happened? So what I did was I brought somebody else in, James Prince. He was a good businessman. He got a good business head on his shoulders. So I brought him in to look over everything, and they said I've been getting beat the whole time.
Wow.
It seemed that Floyd's biggest problems were not inside the ring, but outside of it.
50 years from now, I want people to look down the line and say, Floyd Mayweather, he was an exciting fighter, a great champion. He fought the best, and he was willing to fight anybody.
Around the turn of the millennia, Mayweather was desperate to fight the other champions, but there was just one problem. He was struggling to get big names in the ring with him.
Mayweather says his ambition is to unify all the titles from 130 pounds to 147 pounds, 4 of them individually. And surely somebody is going to show up during that time. But right now there really are no Felix Trinidads looming and lurking out there to make a big fight with him.
And after taking a long layoff, the boxing critics were falling out of infatuation with the young champion, and he lost his top 2 position in the pound-for-pound rankings.
Floyd, meanwhile, in the 7 months since you fought, 7 months ago, on my list, you were second pound for pound to Roy Jones. Now, on my list, you're 5, Ring Magazine 5 or 6. In USA Today, Corrales is ahead of you. How do you feel about that?
I want to ask you a question. How many fights have you had? I mean, because you seem to know a lot about so many different fighters, but I want to know how many fights you had. You know so much about the sport of boxing.
But Floyd, we're not talking about me. Now, you can't expect people to keep you number 2 when these guys are having super fights. Do you feel you need your super fights now?
Well, when it's all said and done, you know, after Floyd Mayweather beats Diego Corrales, after I beat Prince Nassim because he's ducking and dodging me, after I beat Joel Casamayor, after I beat Freitas, after I beat Paul Spadafore, any champion out there that wants to fight